Hi, my name is Richa Agarwal, and today I'm here to speak to you about 10 principles of learning. When I come into your classroom to observe and see your curriculum and all the amazing work you're already doing, there's a couple key things that I think would be helpful for you to think about, as well as have a great impact on your students and your classroom as a whole. If you have any questions during this presentation, feel free to ask, and I will be happy to answer them or provide you resources afterwards where you can learn more about this information. So just to give you a little background on South Brunswick High School, South Brunswick as a district is a K-12 district in the Middlesex County, New Jersey. There's 7 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and 1 high school. And it is a suburban school district. The diversity and population of the district is very diverse. You literally have students living from trailer parks to mansions and everything in between, and they're all sitting in the same classroom. So with that, there's a lot of different dynamics that happen within the building. South Brunswick alone has about 3,000 students, and it has about 350 teachers. On top of that, the way the schedule is broken down, it's block scheduling. So we have an A day and a B day, and each block is 90 minutes long, and it rotates each day. So students are sitting in instruction time for 90 minutes, 4 times a day. So there's a lot you can do with it, but a lot that can also, be improved on. So I'm going to share these 10 principles with you, and I hope you are able to take something away from it. The first principle I believe is important is having a positive learning environment. So first of all, your classroom should definitely be welcoming. And to make it welcoming, it doesn't have to look like an elementary classroom. It could still be a high school classroom, but presenting student work on the board is always a great thing. Highlighting students' achievements and successes within your class or otherwise, that's something special to share is always goes a long way. And if you have any teaching tools or, posters, teachable posters, whether student made, teacher made, those are really great to have. Pre-made ones are good too, but I think students get a lot more meaning from it when it's your words and you take the time to create the teaching tools that are within the classroom. Along with that, when they're entering the classroom, you're standing outside welcoming them and greeting them as they come in. Just saying hi, how are you goes a really long way for a student who may be having a tough day that day. The second principle is that the teacher should be knowledgeable, and this can be in many different ways. So obviously the most obvious one is being knowledgeable about your content, math, English, music, social studies, whatever it is that you teach, you should be knowledgeable about the topic and content of what you're teaching. So whether that means you have to do your research beforehand, you're studying beforehand, you're ready to go. With that, you have well-prepared lessons. So, every minute is accounted for and you've thought out from beginning to end how the 90 minutes is going to look like. So there's no awkward in between or, you end like 10 minutes early and you have all this instruction time. So over planning goes a long way. Highly recommend it. And with that, also anticipating the questions that come when you are teaching. You're not caught off guard or look like you're caught off guard. So it's important that you really know your information. So outside the content, it's also important for you as a teacher to be knowledgeable about your students and their needs and where their strengths are and where their weaknesses are, so you're able to cater your lesson accordingly. The third principle is classroom management. When you come into the classroom, it should be very clear what the expectations are. Having an agenda on the board is really important, so that way it keeps you on track, it keeps the students on track, and it really helps keep the class moving. There should also be a mutual understanding between the student and the teacher on, what do we expect as a classroom? Are we you have kids walking up and down the aisles while you're trying to teach, or, are they being respectful and listening and working as a group when it's time to work as a group? And just in general, if it is chaos, it's an organized chaos, and everything is meaningful and well thought out again. The fourth one is a big one. It's differentiation. And again, differentiating for all different types of learners, for your L learners, for your higher achieving students and your lower achieving students, students with IEPs. Differentiation can go on and on. So with differentiation, you want to make sure that you have a lot of different lesson like options for the students. You're presenting your material in a variety of different ways. So it's a visual way, orally, try to have some manipulation with it. You're also scaffolding your learning so that students are able to build upon what they've learned before and learn new material as well. Principle number 5 is flexible grouping. I think it's important that within a 90-minute block, you're constantly changing it up so kids are not getting bored or they're constantly being engaged. So, if you can start off as a whole group, then a small group, having partner work, independent work, having a couple different types of grouping within a 90-minute block really changes up the pace for the students. And it makes the time go by a lot faster. And the best way for them to learn is with each other. So, being mindful of who you're partnering up with each other, which small groups you're pulling, and you're always changing things around. The principle 6 is another big one, is self-regulation, allowing students to be aware of their own learning and building that within your 90-minute block, as well as providing them choice within your class. So, this can be through, okay, we have this activity, you can either do the paper version or you can go online, or you can continue to practice this one topic that we're talking about today, or you can do this extension activity where you're able to delve deeper into the topic and learn applications of it. So providing them some choice and, how they're going to go about their learning and allowing them to pick their activity and when they want to do it really goes a long way. Nancy Sola wrote this awesome book about, just this, self-regulation, creating these authentic learning units, where there's just so many options, so many choices for your students, and it really engages them and makes the learning so authentic and meaningful for them. So it's definitely something to look into. Principle 7 is goes with self-regulation, but making your content meaningful. You want students to always be engaged in what they're learning. So finding ways, taking that extra step to make your connection with the students. The content should connect with the students. And then also what I mentioned a little bit before is allowing for extension activities. So if you're talking about some topic that's based on present day information, maybe you have a video to show the history behind it, or, how to apply it further. So that way students are really understanding that what they are learning in school is not just within these four walls, but actually can be applicable to the real world. Principle 8 is checking for understanding, to constantly be checking for understanding throughout the 90 minutes. This can be done formally or informally. You can randomly call on students or, just keep popping around asking students questions to see if they're understanding what steps they're at. And then also, if you can, providing one-on-one conferences with your students to see how they're feeling about the content. Now, obviously, it's not realistic to think you'll get through all 30 students in one block. There's no time for teaching in that way, but maybe having 5 students a class come up and sign up when they want to go. Going back to self-regulation, making choices, and having them take control of their learning. So they're checking in with you when maybe they're struggling as well. So giving them that choice. And it also gives you that interaction with them one-on-one that maybe you wouldn't get elsewhere. Principle 9 is incorporating technology. Now with our 21st century standards and everything, technology is extremely important. There's a ton of activities for every content online to do. But then also using technology in innovative ways. You don't want a computer to just replace, typing an essay. So like students can handwrite an essay, they can also type the same exact essay. But maybe taking it a step further and teaching them, okay, the information you're writing, let's do something online to really elaborate on that, make it more meaningful, something that can only be done on the computer or through technology, but they're still learning the same objective that you had set out for in the beginning. So really thinking outside the box and understanding the power of technology and how much like technology has to offer outside of just Google Docs and the basics. And the last one is have fun. When you come into your classroom, it should be enjoyable, it should be exciting, play music when students are working, make jokes with them, make them laugh, let them talk to each other. It shouldn't be so strict all the time. Like students should be excited to come to your room because what you do every day is awesome. So I definitely think in having fun, enjoying yourself will go off on them, and then they'll begin to enjoy your content and your class even more than they probably already do. So I hope you were able to take away something from these 10 principles, and I look forward to coming into your classroom and seeing all of this in play. If you ever have any questions or want to reach out, you can always email me, and I will be happy to elaborate on any of these principles. Following this, you'll see my annotated bibliography where you can find some more information about some of these topics. Thank you very much, and have a good night.